In the heart of the African savanna, where the sun blazes down, and the air is thick with the scent of earth and life, a haunting scene unfolds. A white lion, a creature of majestic beauty and rare elegance, lies motionless beneath the shade of a gnarled acacia tree. But this is no ordinary sight. The lion's once pristine coat is marred by a horrific wound, a grotesque testament to the brutal realities of nature. As we draw closer, the true horror reveals itself. The wound is alive, teeming with a writhing mass of insects, a nightmarish infestation that transforms this regal beast into a living canvas of decay. The juxtaposition of the lion's ethereal beauty against the backdrop of such grotesque suffering is enough to send shivers down the spine. How did this happen? What dark forces of nature conspired to bring this once mighty predator to such a pitiful state? Insects, often dismissed as mere nuisances, are nature's most efficient recyclers, but they can also be merciless predators. In this case, the white lion has fallen victim to a particularly vicious swarm of maggots, the larvae of flies that have found a perfect breeding ground in the open wound. The flesh, soft and vulnerable, provides an ideal environment for these insatiable creatures. As they burrow deeper, they feast on the lion's flesh, breaking down tissue and leaving behind a trail of destruction. The sight is both fascinating and repulsive. The maggots, with their wriggling bodies, are nature's cleanup crew, but in this instance, they are also agents of suffering. The infestation is not merely a result of bad luck. It is a grim reminder of the delicate balance of life and death in the wild. The white lion, once the apex predator, now finds itself at the mercy of these tiny invaders. The wound, likely a result of a territorial dispute or a failed hunt, has become a gateway for infection. Flies, drawn to the scent of blood and decay, lay their eggs in the open flesh, and within hours the larvae hatch, ready to feast. This gruesome cycle of life is a stark illustration of nature's brutality, where the line between predator and prey blurs in the most unsettling ways. As we observe this tragic scene, we must confront the uncomfortable truth. The white lion's plight is not an isolated incident. Insects are everywhere, thriving in environments that humans often overlook. They are the unsung heroes of decomposition, breaking down organic matter and returning nutrients to the in the shadowy heights of the Himalayas, where the air is thin and the landscape is a breathtaking tapestry of white and gray, a snow leopard prowls. This majestic creature, often dubbed the ghost of the mountains, is a symbol of beauty and grace. But today, we delve into a darker narrative, one that reveals the harsh realities of survival in this unforgiving environment. Imagine, if you will, a snow leopard, its fur a stunning blend of smoky gray and white, but marred by a horrific wound, a parasitic flower, grotesquely blooming from its side. This flower, known as the corpse flower, thrives on the very essence of its host, siphoning nutrients and leaving behind a festering wound that is both a testament to nature's brutality and a reminder of the delicate balance of life and death. As we explore this chilling phenomenon, we must confront the unsettling truth of parasitism. The corpse flower, with its foul odor, and in the quiet stillness of a sun-drenched meadow, a striking white horse stands, its coat gleaming like freshly fallen snow. But upon closer inspection, a horrific sight emerges, a gaping wound, a grotesque hive of bees embedded in its flank, a living testament to nature's darker side. This is not merely a wound. It is a battleground, a chaotic swirl of buzzing insects that have turned this majestic creature into a host for their insatiable appetite. The bees, drawn to the horse's warmth and the scent of its sweat, have burrowed into its flesh, creating a grotesque fusion of life and decay. The horse, once a symbol of grace and beauty, now bears the scars of an infestation that is as fascinating as it is repulsive. As we delve deeper into this unsettling scenario, we must confront the reality of bee infestations. These industrious insects, while essential to our ecosystem, can become a nightmare when their colonies invade the body of a larger animal. The horse's immune system, overwhelmed and confused, struggles to fend off the relentless swarm. The bees, in their quest for survival, in the heart of a dense, shadowy jungle, where the air is thick with humidity and the sounds of nature create a symphony of life, a chilling scene unfolds. A monkey, once vibrant and full of energy, now sits in a state of despair, its body marred by a horrific wound. This is not just any injury. It is a grotesque testament to the relentless cruelty of nature. The wound, a gaping hole in the monkey's side, is a breeding ground for a swarm of insects, Each one a tiny predator feasting on the flesh of this unfortunate creature as we delve deeper into a reality that is as fascinating as it is repulsive. The monkey's wound is not merely an injury, it is an ecosystem in itself. Flies, attracted by the scent of decay, have laid their eggs within the open flesh. These eggs hatch into maggots, wriggling and squirming, their translucent bodies glistening in the dim light. They burrow deeper into the wound, consuming the soft tissue, and leaving behind a trail of destruction. The sight is enough to make even the most stoic observer recoil in horror. Yet, this gruesome spectacle is a natural process, a cycle of life and death that has played out for eons. The maggots, in their ravenous consumption, are not just parasites, they are nature's cleanup crew, breaking down the remains of the living to nourish the soil and sustain new life. As we observe this macabre scene, we must confront the unsettling truth about the relationship between animals and insects. Insects, often dismissed as mere nuisances, play a crucial role in the ecosystem. They are the unsung heroes of decomposition, ensuring that nothing goes to waste. However, in this case, their role takes on a darker tone. The monkey, once a lively participant in the jungle's dance of life, is now a victim of circumstance, caught in a web of survival that is as brutal. In the heart of the African savanna, where the sun blazes down and the air is thick with the scent of earth and life, a chilling scene unfolds. White lion, a creature of majestic beauty and power, lies motionless beneath the shade of an acacia tree. But this is no ordinary lion. This is a harbinger of nature's darker side, a living testament to the brutal realities of survival. As we draw closer, the sight is both captivating and horrifying. The lion's once pristine fur is matted and stained, revealing a gruesome wound, a horrific beehive embedded deep within its flesh. The sight is enough to make even the most hardened observer recoil in disgust. How did this regal beast, a symbol of strength and dominance, fall victim to such a grotesque fate? The answer lies in the intricate and often brutal dance of nature. Those seemingly innocuous pollinators, can become a nightmare when their hives are disturbed. In this case, the lion, perhaps in search of a meal or simply curious, stumbled upon a hive teeming with angry bees. The result was a frenzy of stings, a painful assault that left the lion vulnerable and exposed. The bees, driven by instinct to protect their home, unleashed a torrent of venom, embedding their stingers deep into the lion's flesh. The wound is not just a simple puncture, it is a festering mass of inflammation, a grotesque reminder of the lion's encounter with nature's defenders. As we examine the wound more closely, the reality becomes even more disturbing. The hive, once a bustling community of industrious workers, has now turned into a grotesque parasite, feeding off the lion's suffering. The bees, in their relentless pursuit of survival, have created a living nightmare for this majestic creature. The wound is a breeding ground for infection, a dark and festering pit that threatens to consume the lion from the inside out. The buzzing of the bees, once a sound of life and productivity, now echoes like a death knell, a reminder of the fragility of existence in the wild. But what drives these bees to such extremes? In the icy expanse of the Arctic, where the sun barely pierces the perpetual twilight, a creature of majestic power roams the frozen landscape. The polar bear, a symbol of strength and resilience, is often seen as the apex predator of this harsh environment. But today, we encounter a bear that tells a different story, a story of suffering, survival, and the grotesque realities of nature. As we zoom in on this magnificent beast, we are met with a shocking sight, a horrific barnacle wound, a gruesome testament to the relentless forces of nature, and the often unseen battles that riddle the lives of these magnificent animals. The bear's once pristine white fur is marred by a cluster of barnacles, their hard, calcified shells protruding grotesquely from its skin, creating a chilling contrast against the stark whiteness of its coat. These barnacles, small marine crustaceans, have found an unwelcome home on the bear's body, a phenomenon that is as fascinating as it is disturbing. Barnacles are notorious hitchhikers, capable of attaching themselves to any surface they can find, from rocks to ships. And in this case, the unfortunate polar bear, the infestation begins innocently enough. A few barnacles latch onto the bear's skin, perhaps after a swim in the frigid waters, where these creatures thrive, but as time passes, the situation escalates. The barnacles multiply, their hard shells digging into the bear's flesh, creating deep, painful wounds that can become infected. The bear, once a symbol of power, now bears the weight of this grotesque burden, a living canvas of nature's darker side. As we delve deeper into the biology of these barnacles, we uncover a chilling truth. These creatures are not merely parasites, they are opportunists, thriving in the cold waters of the Arctic and taking advantage of any available surface. In the heart of the dense, shadowy jungles of Central Africa, a scene unfolds that is both captivating and grotesque. Imagine a majestic silverback gorilla, a symbol of strength and grace, now marred by a horrific wound that tells a story of nature's darker side. This is not just any injury, it is a gruesome testament to the relentless power of a bee infestation. As we delve into this unsettling narrative, prepare yourself for a journey that intertwines the beauty of wildlife with the stark realities of survival, pain, and the often overlooked consequences of nature's intricate web. The gorilla, a creature that commands respect and admiration, now bears the scars of an encounter with a swarm of bees. The wound, a gaping hole in its thick fur, is surrounded by angry, swollen flesh, a vivid reminder of the chaos that ensued. The bees, tiny yet formidable, have taken up residence in the gorilla's body, their stingers embedded deep within the tissue, creating a grotesque tableau of nature's brutality. Each sting is a reminder of the gorilla's vulnerability, a stark contrast to its usual dominance in the animal kingdom. The sight is shocking, a visceral jolt that challenges our perceptions of strength and survival. As we explore the phenomenon of bee infestations, it becomes clear that this is not merely an isolated incident. Bees, often seen as harmless pollinators, can become aggressive when their hives are threatened. In this case, the gorilla may have inadvertently disturbed a nest, provoking a swarm that descended upon it with a vengeance. The bees, driven by instinct to protect their home, unleashed a barrage of stings, each one a tiny dagger that pierced the gorilla's skin. The result is a painful, inflamed wound that is both fascinating and repulsive, a stark reminder of the raw power of nature and behavior. Bees are social insects, living in colonies that can number in the thousands. When threatened, they communicate through pheromones, signaling to one another to attack. In the case of our unfortunate gorilla, the initial sting likely triggered a chain reaction, summoning more bees to the scene. The gorilla, in its confusion and pain, may have flailed about, inadvertently exacerbating the situation. The once peaceful jungle now echoes with the sounds of buzzing wings and anguished roars, a cacophony of chaos that highlights the fragility of life in the wild. As we examine the aftermath of this encounter, the implications of such an infestation become even more disturbing. The gorilla, now weakened and vulnerable, faces a grim reality. The stings, while initially just painful, can lead to severe allergic reactions, infections, and even death. The once mighty creature is reduced to a mere shadow of its former self, a victim of circumstances beyond its control. This dark twist of fate serves as a poignant reminder of the delicate balance that exists within ecosystems, where even the strongest can fall prey to the smallest of adversaries. But what does this mean for us, the observers of this tragic tale? It forces us to confront our own role in the natural world. Humans, with our insatiable desire. In the quiet stillness of a sun-drenched meadow, a scene unfolds that is both captivating and grotesque. A majestic horse, once a symbol of grace and power, now bears a horrific wound, a gaping, festering cavity where a beehive has taken root. The sight is enough to make even the most stoic observer recoil in horror. This is not merely a wound, it is a testament to the dark and often unseen battles that rage in the natural world. As we delve deeper into this unsettling narrative, we will uncover the chilling reality of bee infestations in horses, a phenomenon that is as fascinating as it is repulsive. Imagine, if you will, the moment when the first bee stings the horse's tender flesh, a sharp jab that sends shockwaves through its body. The horse, startled and confused, thrashes about, but the damage is done. The bees, drawn to the warmth and moisture of the horse's skin, begin to burrow deeper, creating a hive that thrives on the very essence of its host. This grotesque symbiosis is not one of mutual benefit. Rather, it is a parasitic relationship that leads to suffering and decay. The horse's immune system, overwhelmed by the invasion, struggles to fend off the relentless onslaught of these tiny buzzing marauders. As the hive grows, so does the wound. What was once a small puncture transforms into a gaping maw, oozing with pus and blood, a grotesque reminder of nature's brutality. The bees, undeterred by the horse's pain, continue to multiply, their numbers swelling into the thousands. Each bee, a tiny soldier in this dark army, works tirelessly to expand their home, oblivious to the suffering they inflict. The horse, now a mere shell of its former self, becomes a living host, a canvas painted with the horrors of nature's design. The infestation is not just a physical ailment, it is a psychological torment. The horse, once proud and spirited, now stands